Mikoto's diary, you play as Mataru, a boy who, shortly after getting his love confession accepted by his crush, the popular Mikoto, is invited to her house for a short date. As he waits for her to finish the meal she's preparing for him, however, he finds torn pieces of what appears to be her diary. Interestingly, every piece seems to hold a clue on where to find the next one, heavily suggesting that the very purpose of their date was for him to gather these pieces. Maybe as a way to test his commitment or to reveal to him something about herself that she's not comfortable sharing more directly. Like an even more convoluted version of those tests girlfriends like to do, you know? But anyway, as you play through the game, you find out that, surprisingly, both these assumptions are correct, as the full diary reveals the story of a girl desperately trying to impress her parents, who seem to neglect her no matter how much she accomplishes. And I absolutely love this part of the game because at the beginning, again, you're like, oh, this story is very convoluted and it doesn't make much sense. This is all just a gameplay concession, one of those silly game logic moments, right? But no, this is not only integrated into the story, but very well integrated into the story and further serves to characterize and develop Mikoto. So it not only serves as a very interesting gameplay element, which adds a layer of mystery and suspense as you gather the pieces and see her crumbling mental state, but it's a detail that further complements said pieces and only serves to strengthen or to emphasize what they reveal about Mikoto. That she is a girl that not only feels a need but is very desperate for acceptance, as she feels that no matter what she does, no matter how much she accomplishes, no matter how good her grades are, how beloved she is by her classmates, how many friends she has, and how many boys lust after her, her parents never acknowledge any of it. No matter what she does, she will never have this acceptance and this love that she so desires from them. And so you can see why she goes through such lengths to make this game for you, because she is obviously very shy because this isn't something that's easy to admit, but at the same time she wants you to find out more about her, to find these more personal feelings that she has, this more flawed and pathetic version of her, because she wants you to acknowledge all this and see if you will still accept her, give this thing that her parents never gave her. And it just works as a really good drama story, especially because it's so relatable, you know? Obviously, not everyone went through, or at least hopefully, not everyone went through what Mikoto did. But to some level, I think we can all relate to her. We all had a phase in our lives where we were trying to impress our parents, and they either didn't care about the ways we were trying to impress them, about accomplishments that were important to us, or even if they did care, they didn't quite give the response that we would like, which is understandable on their part as well, but still, it makes Mikoto's situation very relatable, I think, to most people at some level, which only further helps this. So yeah, if you didn't notice, Mikoto's Diary, I think it works very well as an amazing drama story. Which is why it's so disappointing how the ending fumbles all this. Because if you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, or just by the people who made this game in the first place, obviously this is a Yandere game. So instead of stopping at feelings like depression or desperation or a lack of purpose or the more normal things that I think most people would feel and do when in this kind of situation. No, she just goes full like psycho mode and figures out, oh, the reason they're not giving me much attention, the reason they're not acknowledging me is because they're the bad kids, not me. I'm the adult in this situation. They need to be properly taught by me. And so she drugs them and traps them in her closet and essentially treats them like glorified pets due to this twisted logic, which really just doesn't make sense for the character. Because if there was an element of physical or sexual abuse or even something more emotional, this more extreme element even of emotional manipulation or more direct emotional manipulation, maybe obviously the physical and sexual would make this development make a ton more sense and would even to some level justify this. The emotional one, kinda if we use game logic, but at least it'd be something. But given that this is just pure neglect, it's not that it's not bad, but it doesn't justify what she does. Neither in the sense of it making sense as a development for her character, nor in the sense of it making it understandable, which is really bad because that's the point of the story. Unlike her previous boyfriend, which was also trapped in the attic due to discovering the same things as us and not accepting her, we are instead meant to, after seeing all these stories, after seeing what she went through and what she did, understand and accept her for it, and lead her to a path of redemption, of not going through such a dark and unhealthy path because of it, and of actually be able to have a more healthy development with us by her side instead of these other people. And they even try to redeem her a bit by making her cry about it and feel bad and admit that she went too far, etc. But it doesn't work because feeling bad doesn't make what Mikoto did any more justifiable. It doesn't make her any more deserving of being redeemed. It doesn't make this reveal and this true ending that's intended for the game any more satisfying. If anything, it just feels forced and out of nowhere, as the game is trying its damnedest to shove a yandere in a story that really doesn't need one, or where this kind of thing doesn't make sense, and then further making it even worse by redeeming this yandere because it really wants a happy ending. And it just sad because it fumbles what would otherwise be an amazing drama story. Especially because we can do that typical anime reviewer thing and say, oh, and it doesn't make a lot of sense that all these people have lives. Like the boyfriend and the mom and the father, they all had friends and family members. Did none of them care? Did none of them ever suspect what was happening? Which I'm not going to say that this isn't a valid argument, a valid questioning, a valid criticism against the game. It obviously is, but I don't feel is that important in the face of, no, is this story emotionally gripping? Is the ending satisfying? Those things are much more important to me than, oh, is this real life sensible? And that's why, even with this typical easy criticism out of the way, this ending feels so fumbled, so forced, so sad. Not in. No, I feel sad because of what happened. I feel sad on a meta level because this could have been a really great drama story and it just wasn't, for the sake of cramming a yandere in there. So if it wasn't clear, I obviously do not recommend this game. Unlike most other Sharon games, which I generally do feel are worth your time. Though, with all that being said, I can't exactly hold this against Sharon, much like I can't hold Red Hood's Wood's lack of quality against Toro as a creator, because much like that game, obviously Mikoto's Diary was one of, if not the first game Sharon ever published. So of course it's not only not going to live up to their normal standards, but it's probably going to be pretty bad. just like anything you, or I for that matter, ever tried first publishing. Like everyone's first works are always their worst, right? And frankly, with that context in mind, I feel like the game is even quite remarkable. The art style is very unique and clearly has a lot of passion and care put into it. The game, like I said, is pretty suspenseful, interesting, mysterious, engaging through 90% of the runtime. And the story itself, again, is very well told, it makes sense, and it's even very relatable and competently done, again, up until that terrible ending to include a yandere. So I really, despite obviously again not recommending that you play this, it's not worth your time. It's still remarkable as a first product. It's still like something I definitely commend in that regard with that context. And that will be it for today. If you like this video, please do all the normal YouTube stuff. Like, comment, subscribe, etc. And I genuinely do hope to see you next time. If you really liked it, I'd also really appreciate if you could support me financially, either through a one-time paid comment donation or by joining my membership, where for $1 a month, you get to participate in exclusive polls in order to decide which videos I'll make next. Like, which of my plans should I focus on? Which of the content I have in mind do you want to see first? That kind of thing. As well as get your name put in this fancy little screen right here. Just as a small gesture of appreciation, exactly for your monthly support. But of course, no matter how much you choose to give me, as well as if you choose to give me anything at all, do know that I really appreciate any cent you're willing to throw my way, as well as just the fact that you're watching this video up to this point at all. But with all that stuff out of the way, I think it's finally time to, as always, bid you guys farewell. Obscure Anime out.